enjoyed it because they weren't trying to hide it. They weren't trying to pretend that this was an absolute real race and this is like real, and they're trying to they kind of I don't want to say spoofed it, but they showed it. There was like an anime feel. I'm glad you used that word, because and I liked it that they embraced it instead of trying to like, no, there's like no CGI. There's no CGI. It's too real. It's too real. It's too real. It's so real. It's like, come on, man. We know it. You can't pull some of these shots off without it. So come on. So embrace it. Now I don't care for it when they really embrace it, like in Indiana Jones and, you know, the Apology, the Crystal Skull, but the where they really just try to get super campy with it. But he embraced it. And then I love the credit sequence too, because it almost recreates the opening drag sequence. And I watched the whole credits because I thought that whole final pure animation of that drag sequence was pretty awesome.
Yeah. That's why I hate these lazy reviews of this movie.
There's a lot of time and effort put into this movie. This isn't Police Academy.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like that's what it gets thrown into. Like, it's a Police Academy movie, and it's not.
Yeah.
There's some good writing to it. Even the silly, like you might think is like on a first glance is bad dialogue. Like, shut up, man, shut up. It's actually good dialogue. It's supposed to be a little campy, but it's good. It carries, and there's some character depth. I mean, we have really spent this whole thing and really have not delved into Carter Barone, who is Cole Hauser. I mean, it is just so brilliant. Like, I don't know if you noticed this at the beginning when they do the download on the screen that they're at the customs. I'm a big Seinfeld fan, and there's no better job description when you just don't know what somebody can do. And so when Jerry goes, well, what do you do for a living? He goes, I'm an importer-exporter. Because it's just so generic. Well, that's what the customs agent says Carter Barone is. He goes, oh, he's an importer-exporter. It was clearly like, okay, what does he do? Well, it doesn't matter. So he's just an importer-exporter.
I love it.
It's great. He's an importer-exporter. And then he's born in Argentina, but he's lived his life in Miami. So don't question why he doesn't look or sound Argentinian through the rest of this movie.
Yeah.
I just love it. It's like one line of, like, I feel like John Singleton was like, okay, we are going to write some ridiculous dialogue here so no one questions it. Oh, he's Argentinian. He doesn't look Argentinian. He doesn't sound Argentinian. Oh, no, he was born there. He just was raised in Miami. Oh,
who knows? Yeah, who knows where his parents are? They never really tell you. So, I mean, it's like, yeah, maybe they're on vacation.
And let's be clear. That pad he's living in, he's doing well.
He's import-exporting the heck out of import-export.
It's like he's living like a cartel, like the head of the cartel. He's not living like some guy who works for the cartel. He's working like he's running the damn thing, and he's living large down there, man.
Man, that's a great point too. He's basically Tony Montana with that pad. So he has much larger connections, I would say. Well,
at the end of the movie, when Brian goes, "Oh, he's going to jail." No, he's not. He'll be.
Yeah. Here's your limo, sir.
Yeah. But that was another thing, the over-the-topness of, he's so good. I mean, he's so great as Rip in Yellowstone, but he's so good in this where he could have really driven off the edge, no pun intended, with that character. And he plays it with a little bit of restraint. He knows it's campy. He's got the silk shirts that, that are opened up to his, to the middle of his chest. He's got the cigar cutter. He plays it large, but there is some level of restraint to it that kind of makes it kind of fun.
Yeah. Because he's acting alongside Paul and Roman, who are larger than life. So if you have three of them in the room, but it was good acting decisions. And John Singleton kept saying it. He was just like, man, I love Cole Hauser's face. So he just, Cole Hauser shows up, acts like a tough guy. And you know what I like? He doesn't prove he's a tough guy in this one. I don't like villains who have way too much swagger.
Right.
Because I think you make another good point. He's the boss, so he acts like the boss. He doesn't act, hey, man, I'll fist fight you. Like I don't know. I dig it. I like the restraint. He's been there, done that. Maybe he's a little overconfident in it, but Oh man, what about that scene at the bar when they go to the club? And also what I love is Eva Mendes was talking about how she prepared for this role. They also did a driving school, which is amazing. But also in behind the scenes, it's just Paul Walker and Roman punching each other Tyrese punching each other the entire time behind the scenes. And John Singleton's like, all right, dum-dums, pay attention. All right, idiots. Come on, you guys. And then there's one time where John Singleton goes, come on, you guys. Like they were just sillying around on. It was maybe so funny. But when they go to the club, when Brian's talking to Monica, and then you just see him in the background watching. Like I don't know. He gets it. He knows. Like, he's observant. And I think it's minor scenes like that really work. And then Megan, my wife, she always talks about the rat in the bucket scene because you don't see anything. You don't see anything, but you're just, wow. You can see it, but you don't see it.
There's some great sound editing with that scene with the blowtorch. You can hear the rat. There's so many subtle things. That's a great point that Megan makes, that you don't see it, but you can feel it through the sound editing and the way they shot it. It really is pretty powerful. I mean, that's the point. This isn't Police Academy. It's actually a good movie with some real dedicated professionals putting it together. They're just not slapping something together. And it's amazing we're this far in and we haven't even talked about that scene. I mean, and that's the one. And it's the one scene that bothers me is the next scene is when Monica shows up at the boat the next day. Like she sneaks out. It's the only one that it's the only scene where I know there's a connective tissue to it for the movie, but she's in for a year and then she just sneaks out and then she's kissing, they're boyfriend, girlfriend all of a sudden on the boat with Paul Walker. I'm like, all right, this doesn't jive. Although Roman is great talking to the two henchmen. Oh. When they show up. He is that when he's buying time. But she's good in the movie, but I don't know, she's not the greatest I don't know. It's like I sit there and go, man, could she have really pulled off a year undercover?
Yeah, that scene takes some of the agency away from her a little bit, if you think about it.
They weaken her. They make her into a trope woman that needs Paul Walker and Roman all of a sudden, where she's a very strong woman through the first half of the movie.
And this is really weird, but in Blade 2, I like it a lot. But the main vampire badass, she takes Blade on in a one-on-one fight to a draw. And then at the end, she's incapable of fighting. And you're like, what is... Well, you fought Blade to a draw. This is... I don't know.
Yeah, they turned... She was great in the first half of this movie, and then they kind of turned her into a
hostage.
Yeah. She was weak. I mean, I know, she comes out at the end. She clearly beats up the henchman down below after the car lands and she's got the shotgun or whatever. But they really did her kind of a little bit of a disservice for the back half of the movie. After they set her up, she's out on the streets looking for drivers. They really set her up at the beginning to be a pretty strong-willed woman. And, they really kind of laid off a little bit. They kind of, what do they call fridging? What's the term?
They didn't quite kill her. They kind of cooled her off a little bit. Yeah, it's annoying. I get it. And no, I think you're right.
Do so much in 2 hours. I mean, you gotta end the movie.
Yeah,
you can't have character development for everything.
I think that's why that people love this franchise too. That aside from this scene, you have Letty beating everybody up. You have Gina Carano fighting people. Ronda Rousey fighting people. Megan loves Nathalie Emmanuel's character. So my wife works in the IT field in computers and technology, and so she loves that Nathalie Emmanuel from Game of Thrones is one of the greatest hackers on the planet, like a female badass hacker. She loves that aspect of the character, and so yeah, I mean, I'd like it if Monica came back as kind of a badass. That'd be a nice addition to it.
Yeah, they brought Han back, but they should bring back. I don't know. They did Carter Verone, Monica Fuentes. They absolutely. I mean, they already come out and said what they're going to do
until 11,
and then they're going to do 2 more. There has to be some sort of circle back to
She pops up in 5, right? Monica Fuentes at the end of it, or is that
right.
6? And I was like, cool, she's back.
Yeah, but it's not material.
Yeah. I would love it. Yeah, put him in a movie. Like, they killed off Letty. They killed off Han. Just bring back Vince. Who cares? Bionic zombie.
Well, maybe in this movie, they kill off Letty and Dom is now dating Monica, and they'll be like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the Monica. It's all about family.
Oh man. So, okay, real quick. This is totally off Too Fast, Too Furious, and we still have a lot to talk about. But if Han's alive in 9, I have a couple weird theories here. So either Jason Statham flipped the car, put him in a Black Ops area, and turned him. So Han could be the villain in this movie, the undercover villain in 9, and then be the overall villain for the rest of the franchise. Or does he become a part of the team?
It wouldn't shock me, but I feel like Han is so set in stone. It's almost like when Dom was against his family, that was kind of the whole trope through the movie, and we thought he was kind of like the bad guy, or and the team. If they did something like that with Han, I feel like they would bail it out at the end of 10 or 11, and you'd find out he was really like, I was compromised by such and such. I feel like they wouldn't stick to it.
He has an implant in his brain.
Yeah. I think Han's too beloved for them to turn him into Charlize Theron or anything like that. Cypher.
They had my family.
Yeah.
They did that again?
Well, the one thing I would say is, with what was Gal Gadot's? What was
Gal Gadot? Her name? Oh gosh,
I can't even think of it. But that was one of the cool love affairs, one of the relationships series, and that was actually heartbreaking. So
Giselle.
It'll be great. It's what?
Giselle.
So obviously in 9 or 10, when they bring back Giselle, who it turns out did not die in a ball of wreckage flames on that runway, it turns out she jumped out just in the nick of time. It'll be nice when they bring her back.
Yeah, bring back Wonder Woman. Holy crap, to be with Han. She's like, I was just badly wounded, and I
like about Too Fast, Too Furious is because we've talked about the way they swung characters a little bit in this franchise, and it can get a little annoying. One thing I like about Too Fast, Too Furious is it's it's fun, and they are who they are. As the series goes on and people come back from the dead, and Letty's on one side, they bring her back because she has amnesia. It starts getting into the more pulpy, and they wanted about family and this, that. What are your thoughts on, as they kind of continue to advance this series, how they keep, like you're saying, they have no problems clearly with people doing 180s with their personalities in this franchise?
Yeah, it's bonkers, man. Because they'll just bring them back. It gives it a slightly slapdash feel. But Justin Lin claims that they planned for Letty to be dead in 4 and then come back in 6. That was their plan all along. And
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
But yeah, you know what I like about this movie too, and I'm thinking about it now. They're very unapologetic about the characters. They're not trying. These guys aren't trying to be cool either. I mean, Brian and Brian, these guys are slapping each other, and they're just acting like I don't know. They're not trying to make Roman cool at all. Even though the shirtless scene with Tyrese, he told Singleton, he's like, action movie characters have to take off their shirt, so I'm taking off my shirt in this movie. So that's why he did it.
But they do cover it with dialogue when they're walking back, and Brian says, "Put your blouse back on."
Yeah, and the door was unlocked the whole time anyway.
Yes, yeah, that was So clearly, John Singleton was like, "All right, you want to take your shirt off, but we are going to mock you for the rest of this scene." Yeah. For it. So, and apparently Tyrese was more than okay with it.
I adore this movie, man. Oh, I love it. I love it.
What about we really didn't even get into the final. So the one thing I wanted to bring up was that final race sequence where we really haven't talked about it, but I thought we were talking about the car culture, and I thought that the whole situation where they all went into the warehouse and then they came out. I thought the visuals behind that were pretty awesome. You know,